Editing is without a doubt one of the most time-sucking parts of making videos, but it absolutely doesn't have to feel like punishment. I used to dread sitting down with a mountain of footage, but over time I built a flow that's simple, fast, and actually kind of fun. In this video, I'll walk you through my step-by-step editing process so you can take those long recordings and turn them into tight, engaging YouTube videos. And I'll show you one of the tools that made me actually want to edit my own stuff. Vizard. If you're just jumping in, just know this is part of a larger series where I pull back the curtain on exactly how I make my videos. So if you want the full picture, you should absolutely binge the playlist right after this one finishes. Alright, let's head over to my desk and actually edit something together right now. First things first, after I copy all my SD card files onto my computer, I open the software and immediately create a brand new project. I usually name the project whatever the final YouTube title will be, which just keeps everything super tidy. Then I simply drag all of my raw clips right into that new project window. The software will immediately start processing and transcribing all that footage, so just give it a minute or two, depending on how much you actually uploaded. So the big question is, why do we even need transcription? Because having a searchable script is an absolute game changer for editing. Instead of scrubbing back and forth on the timeline trying to find those tiny mistakes, you can literally just highlight the words you want to remove and hit delete. If you want to keep the line in the transcript but take it out of the final video, you can use the strike through or hide function, which keeps the text there so you remember the context. Seriously, it's basically single-click editing for anything you actually spoke aloud. And what about all those filler words? You absolutely do not need to make yourself listen to every single and 1,000 times. This tool can automatically highlight common filler words like like, you know, and even repetitive stutters that you didn't notice before. You have the option to batch remove them all at once, filter them one by one, or just see them flagged so you can make the final decision. Honestly, that single feature alone cuts hours right off your editing time every single week. Another incredibly helpful thing the transcript shows you very clearly are the pauses in your speech. Big dramatic gaps in your speaking are super obvious right there in the text, and those tiny micropauses actually show up clearly in the audio waveform below. If you want your video to feel snappier and more professional, you can highlight those pauses in the script and delete them, or jump into the timeline and use the blade tool to slice and trim those small gaps manually. If you love keyboard shortcuts, most video editors use B for blade and A for select. That muscle memory builds up incredibly fast once you start using it. I personally edit at 2 times or even 3 times speed almost always. I only slow down to normal speed for that very final polish pass. But before I even begin cutting out words or fixing pauses, the very first thing I do is a global color pass across everything. I select all of my clips at once, layer a single effect on top, and then add my base color adjustments. Usually I nudge the saturation up just a bit, maybe +10 to +20%, and then tweak the contrast and overall exposure. I don't get too specific with it because every single shoot is different. I just want a consistent baseline so I don't have to go color grade every single clip individually later on. Once that global color pass is locked in, it's officially rough cut time for the project. This is the stage where I remove obvious mistakes, those large filler pauses, and any tangents that absolutely do not belong in the final video. A really helpful trick here is to play the footage back at 2 times speed and use that searchable transcript as your primary guide. When you spot a sentence you want completely gone, just highlight the text and hit delete. It's that easy. If you find yourself reorganizing a list of tips or examples, just cut, Ctrl or CMD+X, and paste them exactly where they make more sense in the overall story. For instance, if your single best tip is buried near the end of a long list, move it right into the top 3 so you can instantly improve your audience retention. You'll also want to go back and tighten up any transitions that might feel a little bit jarring. If a cut feels jarring to your ear, check for a tiny extra pause or even a slight audio overlap and trim it in by just a few frames. Doing that kind of micro-editing makes all of your cuts feel incredibly seamless to the viewer. Now let's briefly talk about layout and layering, which is super useful for any list segments or when you want to set up a nice split-screen look. If there's a specific part where you're listing upcoming videos or showing resources, isolate that specific clip with an in point and out point, so any edits only apply to that small section. Then you can add a brand new scene layer above that, pick a background color that works, and drop in your text element. The software lets you size it, pick custom fonts, add shadows or colored backgrounds behind the text, and control exactly when that text appears. So when you say the word experiences, that word can pop up on screen right at that exact moment. B-roll footage is another really big area where this process shines. Say I'm talking about the act of journaling, I'll simply drag a short clip of me actually journaling into the timeline as an overlaid layer above my main footage. You need to make sure you cut that B-roll clip to match the spoken phrase exactly, and then you can color grade that small piece if it doesn't match the main footage well. If you happen to be using portrait orientation footage, resize it and carefully place it to the side so your main talking head footage remains clearly visible. This whole layering technique also works fantastic for screen recordings. I often record demos directly into the editor, and it cleverly embeds that recording right into the main transcript. If you totally forget a crucial point while filming, seriously, do not stress out about it. You just insert a space in the transcript where the line should go, hit record or import that missing file, and the software will transcribe that extra clip and seamlessly integrate it right into your existing project. That means absolutely no more redoing entire takes just because you missed one sentence. Now here is one thing I always coach creators on. Never treat your content as a single, fixed structure that can't be changed. If you are doing a list-style video, try to avoid constantly saying first, second, third, because it locks you in. Saying those sequential words makes reordering your tips later on much harder. Instead, phrase your content so the points can move freely. Vizard's simple drag-and-drop timeline makes rearranging those tips totally trivial. Okay. Exporting your final piece is pretty straightforward once you're done with all the cuts. You click Publish or Export, choose your resolution. If you're on a paid plan, you can actually go all the way to 4K. Set your final quality, pick your destination folder, and hit Export. Then you take that final file and upload it to YouTube just like you always do. But here is the specific part that absolutely made me fall in love with this tool. Repurposing all that long-form content directly into short-form clips. I've edited podcast episodes that run for hours. Finding those genuinely viral bits used to be an absolute nightmare for me. With this software, I just watch the long file back at 2x speed and easily highlight any moment that I think has real clip potential. You can even color code those specific highlights, so later on you can quickly scan through and see all the good sections you marked. When you create a new composition directly from one of those highlights, the tool isolates that clip and lets you instantly convert it to portrait mode, add captions super fast, and prep it perfectly for Reels, TikTok, or Shorts. The captions are automatic and fully editable. And yes, you should absolutely always add captions when posting short-form video content. Vizard even remembers the specific design styles you use, so once you set one great look for your captions, it carries over automatically to all your subsequent short clips. That small consistency detail saves you a ton of time, especially if you are batch-producing content like I do. Here is another neat trick for engagement: creating simple GIFs and community promos. Say you want a quick little promo for the YouTube community tab, you create a short square composition, add your captions, adjust the font size and line breaks, and then export it as a GIF file. You do need to keep the final file size in mind for platform upload limits, so I usually export at medium quality and about 25% scale if I need a really small file. Now for the quick comparison, because people always ask, yes, other video editors and transcription tools definitely exist out there, and some transcribe pretty well, but they often fall short in a few key ways. Some get very pricey if you want advanced export options, others force you back into a very manual workflow, and most don't actually help you identify those viral moments or schedule the content for distribution later. That is precisely where this particular tool stands out above the competition. It doesn't just transcribe your words, it actively finds the moments that will perform well, turns them into ready-to-post clips, and then helps you schedule them for launch. Speaking of getting the content out there, the auto-schedule feature is absolutely clutch for consistency. You simply set how often you want new content to go out. Say, 3 shorts every single week, and the software will queue those clips and publish them automatically according to your set cadence. That means no more waking up at weird hours for manual uploading or constantly convincing yourself you'll post that content later. When you pair that auto-scheduling with the integrated content calendar, you have one single place to manage, tweak, and publish across all your different social platforms. I'll be honest with you for a second here. Automation is not some kind of magic wand. You still absolutely want to review those automated clips, tweak any captions, and make sure the original context is perfectly preserved. But when you're responsible for creating weekly or even monthly content, having an assistant that finds high-potential clips and lines them up is genuinely a huge advantage. This frees up all of your creative energy to focus on big ideas and filming, instead of getting bogged down in tedious admin work. Let's wrap up with a few real-world tips that I actually use myself. Keep a master project folder for every single long-form video, and then create separate child compositions for every short you plan to repurpose from it. Always color grade globally first, and only go back to fine-tune individual clips if absolutely necessary. Use the transcript for the heavy lifting cuts, but use the visual timeline specifically to finesse those tricky transitions. Don't be shy about moving your single best tip right up to the very beginning of the video if you need to. Viewer attention spans are incredibly short right now, and placement really truly matters for engagement. Use the auto captions feature for speed, but always give them at least one quick glance through because AI is great, but it is certainly not perfect yet. The last major topic I want to cover is outsourcing some of this work. I still outsource sometimes, especially when I need someone to polish a meta video like this how I edit breakdown. I wanted this one to be a great learning piece, so I had an editor help finalize the actual cut. But I primarily use Vizard for the day-to-day editing of my own long-form content and for creating dozens of social shorts every single month. If you are curious about how to effectively work with an external editor while keeping a Vizard native workflow, drop a comment below and I will absolutely make a dedicated video explaining that process. Alright, that is the complete workflow I use to go from raw SD card footage all the way to a published YouTube video and a stack of perfectly repurposed shorts. To recap that quickly, upload and transcribe. Do that global color pass, rough cut using the transcript, refine everything with timeline trims, add your layers and B-roll, repurpose via compositions for shorts, export, and then schedule everything using the integrated calendar and auto-scheduler. If you want a significantly less manual and much more scalable way to turn your long videos into performance-ready social clips, you should definitely give Vizard a look. It has made repurposing at scale actually manageable for me. This is not a paid advertisement or anything. It is genuinely just a tool that saved me hours every single week and finally let me focus on creativity again. If you liked this detailed walkthrough, go ahead and click through right now to the very next video in this series, where I talk all about thumbnails and how I make mine, and when I choose to outsource them. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and if you want a true behind-the-scenes look at working with external video editors or setting up this whole system for your team, just drop a comment below. I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.